I was wondering if you might recognize a girl in this photograph?
¿Qué carajo estás haciendo aquí? ¡Lárgate, cabrón!
Sorry to have bothered you.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're ranking every main protagonist in the Resident Evil series.
It's gonna be dangerous from here on in. Why don't we cooperate?
Cooperate with you?
For this list, we'll be looking at the characters that have featured in lead roles within the mainline Resident Evil games. These are based on their character arcs, their contributions to the plot, and why they're so popular. Which Resident Evil protagonist do you think is a cut above the rest? Let us know down in the comments.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Steve Burnside.
Relax, beautiful. I said I was sorry. My name's Steve.
The main aspect of Claire Redfield's partner in Resident Evil Code Veronica is his massive crush on her. Imprisoned in the Rockport Island facility, Steve searches for his father and teams up with Claire. He can be an annoying person to have around, as Steve keeps trying to flirt with Claire, who's unreceptive to his charms.
But I found something, thanks to you. Looks cool, huh?
Oh, I need those. Give them to me.
After being forced to kill his infected father, Steve is eventually infected himself, which at least gives him an arc where he sacrifices himself to avoid taking Claire's life. Although we do feel sorry for the young man's tragic story, Steve never really helps Claire in a big way, and his demise doesn't have much of an emotional impact.
I love you, Claire.
Helena Harper.
I'll only slow you down. Just go.
Much like Steve Burnside, Helena is like a tag-along partner looking for their family member. Forced to partake in the assassination of the president with her sister held hostage, Helena teams up with Leon to make up for her role in the villainous plot. Although she's a playable character, Helena suffers from a lack of chemistry with Leon.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
No.
Unlike the likes of Claire and Ada Wong, the plot doesn't really create a deep connection between Helena and Leon, and she comes across as a secondary protagonist at best. Since she was also forced to create the C virus, Helena has too many skeletons in the closet to truly feel like a hero.
Okay, enough with the mystery. What the hell is going on here?
Let's just get her out of here.
Moira Burton.
We've been friends for how long?
Long enough that I'm allowed to give you shit.
The daughter of series veteran Barry Burton, Moira starts out as a rather stereotypically foul-mouthed youngster. Unlike the rest of the protagonists, Moira has a fear of guns and uses a range of melee weapons to defend herself. As Claire's companion in Resident Evil Revelations 2, Moira's purpose is to contrast with her sure-footed partner.
My name is Moira Burton. My coworkers and I were taken here against our will.
It can get frustrating to put up with Moira's constant mood swings, but it's part of the character's development to mature out of her father's shadow. Moira's lack of ability with firearms doesn't make her very user-friendly, as players would be inclined to control a protagonist that makes them feel empowered. It definitely takes a while to get accustomed to Moira's bravado, but we can appreciate her arc of learning to step up for a fight when it matters the most.
Claire? We lost the girl.
Billy Cohen.
It's gonna be dangerous from here on in. Why don't we cooperate?
Cooperate with you?
Among the more secretive protagonists in the series, the main appeal behind Billy is the uncertainty of his past. He's introduced as a former Marine Corps lieutenant sentenced for execution until Raccoon City's events lead to his freedom and team up with Rebecca Chambers. Initially resigned to his fate and a cynical personality, forming a partnership with Rebecca to survive changes Billy's outlook.
Are you alright? Hey, we managed to stop the train.
Yes, we managed.
He's a character who carries an aggressive style of combat, not wanting to give the zombies any chance of hurting him or Rebecca. Billy's gruff exterior gradually wears off as he bonds with his partner, with players encouraged to accept his claims of being falsely accused. He doesn't have as much staying power as several other protagonists because of his one-off appearance, but Billy does hold interest during the events of Resident Evil 0.
Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now.
Sherry Birkin.
There has to be a way out of here.
The daughter of infected scientist William Birkin, Sherry is rescued by Claire in Resident Evil 2, where she bonds with her and Leon. Sherry's a character fans can easily sympathize with, as she's caught up with the Raccoon City fiasco that her father is responsible for. Although we do get to play as Sherry in stealth-based sequences, she doesn't become a protagonist in her own right until Resident Evil 6.
No, listen, those things that attacked us, they were all exposed to a new virus called the C virus.
She's brave both as a child and as an anti-bioterrorism operative as an adult, but Sherry needs quite a lot of saving each time. We don't get to see Sherry further than being a rookie, which doesn't make her the biggest threat. Still, her tenacity can be appreciated for the way she finds ways to contribute to the plot, whether it's aiding Claire or teaming up with Jake Muller. Jake Muller. The third main protagonist of Resident Evil 6, Jake's existence itself is intriguing for being the son of Albert Wesker. While not evil like his father, Jake starts out looking out only for himself, not caring about the effects of the C virus ravaging the world. It can be difficult for fans to connect with him since Jake is so focused on things like money and having fun wreaking havoc on the infected. But his pairing with Sherry, who has an equally family history, paves the way for Jake to try and do better. Jake's specialized blood offers him heightened abilities, which makes his campaign interesting for those who want a unique playthrough, but can alienate longtime fans that value the classic Resident Evil experience. Pierce Nivens.
Who the hell are you?
Pierce Nivens?
Chris's partner in the second campaign of Resident Evil 6, Pierce is a BS-AA agent who tries to find positives in the dark atmosphere of the series. Very likable and a loyal friend, Pierce stays by Chris's side, offering him the devotion he needs during the latter's depressive state.
We're taking you back, Captain. One way or another.
Unfortunately for the character, he's stuck in the most uninviting playthrough of Resident Evil 6, as the gameplay is basically a run-and-gun shooter with little depth into how Pierce functions in combat. During the times the story does slow down, Pierce encourages Chris to keep fighting and sacrifices himself to save his friend's life. With just one appearance, there's not as much about Pierce to uncover as we'd like, but he is a contender for the nicest hero in the series.
Suck it up, Vin. Sorry, sir.
Shiva Alomar.
Welcome to Africa. My name is Shiva Alomar.
Chris Redfield.
Shiva is Chris's partner in Resident Evil 5 and proves to be a valuable ally within the story. She's instrumental in helping Chris recover Jill Valentine from Albert Wesker's control and stopping Wesker's master plan. While her AI within the gameplay can be clunky at times, Shiva is far from a burden that other companions like Ashley in Resident Evil 4 were.
But wait, we can't!
Repeat, your mission stands. We can't afford to let him get away. Proceed to the mines beyond the station. Over and out.
This is insane!
While she doesn't have the seemingly superhuman strength Chris does, Shiva complements him well by being just as aggressive. The one drawback about Shiva's characterization is a lack of a personal arc, since her primary purpose is to aid Chris in his vendetta against Wesker. Still, Shiva's badass style and usefulness in the field can't be underestimated, becoming part of arguably the hardest-hitting pair in the Resident Evil series.
That was for our fallen brothers.
Rebecca Chambers.
Hope this is what you wanted.
Thank you. I'm gonna give you a shot now, Richard. Hang in there.
The youngest member of the STARS Bravo team, Rebecca is a prodigy who assists Chris in the original Resident Evil. She contrasts with Chris, Jill, and Barry's stronger presence with her sweet demeanor and inexperienced mindset. Rebecca doesn't take charge as much in the first game, but the prequel, Resident Evil 0, reveals that she's been fighting the infected for 2 days straight. Here, Rebecca's team up with Billy Cohen shows her empathetic side, ensuring that Billy walks away as a free man.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Rebecca's a pragmatist in combat, not possessing the physical attributes that Chris and Billy have, and coming up with creative ways to battle the infected. In a world filled with characters with gritty personalities, it's worth having a protagonist as bubbly and cheerful as Rebecca.
I can handle this on my own. And don't call me little girl.
Hunk.
This is Nighthawk. Come in, Alpha. Alpha, do you read?
Nighthawk. This is Hunk from Alpha Team.
There's never been a playable character as enigmatic as Hunk, whose backstory is never revealed. He barely qualifies as a protagonist since Hunk has little care for others, having no qualms with leaving his own squad to suffer if they can't save themselves. Hunk's team is sent to retrieve the G-Virus from William Birkin in Resident Evil 2, where he emerges as the sole survivor of Raccoon City's events. His popularity stems from Hunk's silent but dominating presence, with everything from his one-liners to his gas mask appearance adding to his coolness factor. Hunk uniquely has no connections with any Resident Evil protagonist, making his campaigns all about survival, which he does better than anyone else. Barry Burton.
Let me take care of it!
Starting out as Jill's partner in the original Resident Evil, Barry is an ally anyone would be lucky to have. Carrying a massive frame and intimidating appearance, Barry is more of a gentle giant and a character who values loyalty. He also happens to be the first protagonist with a family, with his relationship with his daughter Moira detailed in Resident Evil Revelations 2, the first game where he's a playable protagonist.
Oh, come on!
Barry's notable for his gun-wielding and trigger-happy personality, also bringing in hilarious one-liners like the infamous Jill sandwich.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Loud and enthusiastic, but caring and considerate as well, Barry makes for a solid partner in each appearance. Ethan Winters.
I told you to stay out of here!
Intended to act as an audience surrogate, Ethan marks a change in the series by being a regular guy forced to fight the infected. The protagonist of first-person entries Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, Ethan's adventures are credited with returning the franchise to its horror roots. Ethan doesn't have world-saving plans like the other heroes, wanting only to rescue his wife and daughter. Starting out as an everyman whom audiences can see themselves as, Ethan develops into an action protagonist during Resident Evil Village, taking on terrifying villains for the sake of his family.
Mia, I'm so sorry. I love you.
His capability within gameplay also progresses from being relatively weak to learning combat skills for the players to utilize. Ethan is the only protagonist with an extended arc from start to finish, achieving his mission of saving his wife and daughter by sacrificing himself. Carlos Oliveira. Carlos wasn't anything special in the original version of Resident Evil 3, but the game's remake carved out a better characterization for him. He's the wisecracking ally of Jill's within the story, as they look to escape Raccoon City before its destruction. Carlos gradually wins Jill's trust over the course of their adventure, proving himself to be a valuable ally when he saves her life from the infected.
Come get some!
Carlos's penchant for being too on the nose about the things he sees makes him someone who voices out what's on players' minds. Although we don't play as Carlos nearly as much as Jill, his sequences carry a thrilling atmosphere, with Carlos having to mow down hordes of the infected. Despite his one-off appearance, Carlos leaves a lasting impression through his mix of toughness and dedication.
Jill! Jill, what happened? Jill, come in! See, I gotta go.
Ada Wong.
Find a way out, Leon. Before it's too late. Then we'll talk. Name's Ada.
The only thing that can be said with certainty about Ada is that she can't be trusted. Ada's campaigns generally fill in the gaps of each story, detailing how she got there and what the villains are planning. A spy who keeps crossing paths with Leon, Ada knows how to make anyone trust her with her charms and deception.
I can do it myself.
Just relax, okay?
She successfully used her skills to acquire samples of the G-Virus in Resident Evil 2 and the Plaga Parasite in Resident Evil 4, using Leon's connection with her as an advantage. The layers behind Ada's personality are shown when she puts her mission aside to aid Leon, proving that being deceitful doesn't fully define who she is. Better than being a stereotypical protagonist, Ada's unpredictability and mysterious nature is perfect for keeping fans guessing over what she's planning.
Find anything interesting?
A recording from 6 months ago.
Then the trip was worthwhile.
Claire Redfield.
Why does everyone think I'm gonna get in trouble?
The younger sister of Chris and one of the two protagonists in Resident Evil 2, Claire might be the most selfless protagonist yet. Instantly befriending Leon in Raccoon City, Claire extends her attention to Sherry and keeps her safe from dangers like the Tyrant and Sherry's infected father, William. Claire's survival prowess is incredible considering she has no formal training, as her tenacity of spirit keeps her ticking. Claire doesn't have weapons with extra impact, but she possesses greater agility and rapid-fire guns to get the job done. Unlike the other core heroes, Claire manages to retain her positive outlook even with the near-fatal experiences around the infected. Her maternal nature brings out the best in the likes of Sherry and Moira, empowering them to face the dangers around them under Claire's guidance.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I promise.
Chris Redfield.
Since when, Wesker?
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Since when have they been slipping you a paycheck?
Chris is arguably the main protagonist of the entire series, having appeared in the most games by far. Chris can be a little hard to relate to because of his action hero attitude, such as punching boulders and destroying infected with extreme ease. However, Chris is still the face of the franchise, having faced many antagonists like Albert Wesker and heading the STARS and BSAA anti-bioterrorism teams. He's received the most powerful weapons yet, capable of handling rocket launchers to maximum effect. Chris has shined in both leading and supporting roles, as the character has been successfully adapted to each playable style of the Resident Evil series. Fans have followed him through the highs of taking down corporations like Umbrella, to the lows like his depression and losing his squad. Through it all, Chris has found ways to rise back up every time.
3 years trying to put this thing in the ground. 3 years too long.
Jill Valentine.
Those things are coming.
I'll take care of them. But Chris, you just get in contact with Brad somehow.
One of the first action heroines in the gaming landscape, Jill is the leading figure to come out of the events in Raccoon City. She starts out as part of the STARS team in the original entry before becoming the sole protagonist in Resident Evil 3. Jill is a good representation of the trauma a person would suffer from battling the infected, with her arc dealing with the protagonist summing up the courage to expose Umbrella's creation of the viruses.
Okay.
Jill might be a bit rough around the edges, but it's part of the change in character she goes through after suffering through betrayals and the mind control by Albert Wesker. Her escape from the terrifying nemesis is arguably the greatest accomplishment by a Resident Evil protagonist, as Jill embodies the fearlessness needed to defeat such monsters. Leon S. Kennedy.
No, don't shoot! Get down!
Leon arguably has the greatest character development of all the protagonists. From a naive rookie cop in Resident Evil 2, to a relentless special agent in Resident Evil 4, and finally into a cynical veteran in Resident Evil 6, Leon has been through it all. Fans get the complete experience with Leon at the helm, with the character forming firm friendships with the likes of Claire and engaging in a complex romance with Ada. Leon is also the complete package within the gameplay, having as much agility as he does in his use of weaponry. Despite his hellish experiences with the infected, Leon retains a snarky personality, which brings funny exchanges between him and the various characters he encounters. He also has the distinction of being the lead character in two of the series' most popular games, and fans associate him with the best Resident Evil has to offer.
What? Same blood.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.